President al-Assad stresses Syria's determination on making national dialogue a success and simultaneously fighting terrorism. And Turkish popular circles condemn Erdogan's government's request to deploy Patriot missiles on Turkish territories. Syrian armed forces continue to pursue armed terrorist groups affiliated to al-Qaeda. Good afternoon. President Bashar al-Assad received yesterday Speaker of the Iranian Shura Council Ali Larijani and the accompanying delegation. Talks dealt with the situation in the region, especially the failure of the Israeli aggression on Gaza and the victory of the Palestinian resistance there, and the keenness of Syria and Iran on adhering to resistance and supporting it. President al-Assad highly appreciated Iran's keenness on helping the Syrian people and supporting political dialogue, stressing that Syria will continue work on making national dialogue a success and simultaneously fighting terrorism, which aims at destabilizing the security of the country and the whole region. Larijani hailed the steadfast stances of the Syrian leadership in confrontation of the plans being hatched against the region, stressing that Syrian people and the government play a crucial role in confronting the Zionist entity. During a journalist's question at the conclusion of Dr. Larijani's visit to Syria, during these circumstances, President al-Assad said, "It is not an emergency visit. There are always communication between us and the Iranian officials from different levels, but when the visit is on the level of the Shura Council, there will be a gathering for all the meetings held with other officials during a certain period, so we are re-evaluating them, especially in the current situations that move very quickly, the last of which was the Israeli aggression on Gaza." On his part, Dr. Larijani said, "We held valuable discussions, especially about the events related to Palestine and the great victory achieved by the Muslim Palestinian people, the Syrian government, the Syrian people, President Bashar al-Assad and President Hafiz al-Assad, and the ones who have the most important role in the Palestinian resistance." Larijani added, in the same time, that the region states fear to send one bullet to the Palestinians, the Syrian government and people put all potentials ready for the Palestinian people, and that what makes some of the regional states send weapons to the armed groups to Syria. He added, "We have told them that the Syrian government and people have an important role in facing the Zionist entity, and you do not have to weaken this role with your deeds, even if you are looking for reforms in Syria. This cannot be achieved by sending weapons, but it should be done by political dialogue." Syria blamed Erdogan's government for militarizing the situation on the Syrian-Turkish borders, in addition to increasing tension and harming the interest of the two peoples, stressing Syria's condemnation for the Turkish government's new provocative step against Syria. Before this, Turkey had submitted a request to NATO to set up Patriot missile systems near the Syrian-Turkish borders as an attempt to delude the Turkish people and public opinion from a risk coming from Syria. Moreover, an official source in the Foreign and Expatriates Ministry said that Syria reassures the Turkish people that there is nothing to worry about because Syria respects the Turkish sovereignty as it is keen on the interests of the Turkish people and seeks to establish better relations with them. The source added that Erdogan's government alone is responsible for militarizing the border areas, escalating tension and harming the interests of the Syrian and Turkish peoples. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov stressed to NATO Secretary General Andres Fogh Rasmussen Moscow's worries over the deployment of Patriot missile systems on the Syrian-Turkish borders. In a statement released on the ministry's website, Lavrov expressed Moscow's worries over the militarization of the area, suggesting the establishment of a direct communication channel between Damascus and Ankara. Secretary General of the Turkish Labour Party Othman Yilmaz said that deploying Patriot missiles on the Turkish territories aims at achieving the Greater Middle East project, which in turn aims at dividing the states of the region and not protecting the security of Turkey, as Erdogan's government claims. He added that continuous crisis in Syria was the result of Erdogan's export of terrorism to it, referring that Erdogan and the Turkish President Abdullah Gül's stance, which are in line with the US directives, would lead to instability on the Syrian-Turkish borders. Yilmaz affirmed that Gül and Erdogan constitute a grave threat to the security of Turkey and the region. Spokesperson of the Iranian Foreign Ministry Rahman Mehmanparast said that the Turkish demand to NATO about deploying missiles on the borders with Syria would never help to resolve the crisis in the country. Rather, it would make it more complicated. Mehmanparast added that the insistence of the military solution in Syria by some sides is a main factor for increasing tension and threats in the region. In addition, that the influential countries should seek to find a political solution for all the crises of the region. The Syrian Arab Armed Forces continue today to pursue armed terrorist groups affiliated to al-Qaeda. In Deir ez-Zor, a unit of the armed forces clashed with an armed terrorist group near Al-Firdos Mosque in Al-Jbeli neighborhood, killing a number of terrorists belonging to al-Qaeda. Another unit of the army clashed with terrorists in Al-Jbeli and Al-Bsira neighborhoods, killing a number of them and injuring others. A unit of the armed forces clashed with an armed terrorist group from what is called al-Nusra front in Bursaid Street in Al-Muwazzafin neighborhood in Deir ez-Zor city, killing a number of its members and injuring others. Terrorist Abdurrahman al-Ra'i was identified among the killed. In Hasakeh, in cooperation with locals, an army unit repelled an attack launched by armed terrorist groups affiliated to al-Qaeda against houses and public properties in Tel Hammis near al-Qamishli countryside. In related context, a unit of the armed forces confronted this morning an armed terrorist group which tried to attack the law enforcement forces at the checkpoint 45 and Al-Frunluq in Latakia countryside, inflicting heavy losses upon its members. An official source in the city said that the army members killed a number of terrorists and destroyed a car equipped with a machine gun, killing all the terrorists inside it. The Popular Front for Liberating Palestine, the General Command, stressed in a statement that the Israeli enemy sends armed terrorist groups to attack the front's camps in Al Rihan area in the eastern Ghouta. The camp was in that location for more than 30 years, and it has always been a base which launched qualitative operations against the enemy. The statement added that the Zionist enemy tried over and over again to violate the camp in many ways and failed after the front managed to give the Zionist enemy a hard blow during the aggression on Gaza. So the enemy used its tools to take revenge from our front fighters by blockading a Rihan camp, shelling it, and attempting to break into it. The front stressed that the attack came due to their failure to push the Palestinian camps into the Syrian crisis due to its political stand, and it condemned the conspiracy against Syria. Palestine's representative at the UN has submitted a complaint to the Security Council against the Israeli occupation because it has violated the ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and used excessive force against civilian Palestinians in the West Bank and occupied Jerusalem, in addition to launching a mass arrests campaign. Scores of Palestinians and foreigners who have poured into the West Bank in a sign of solidarity have suffered suffocation as a result of the tear gas bombs fired at them by the Israeli occupation troops during the weekly rallies in the West Bank against the settlement activities and the segregation wall. The demonstrators shouted slogans against the Israeli occupation, denouncing its criminal acts and settlement activities, and pledged to go on with their resistance. A number of the foreigners, as well as Palestinians, were arrested during the demonstrations in Nabi Saleh, Kafar Qadoum, and Al-Masarra villages. Moreover, settlers have stormed a number of villages and homes and attacked the residents of those villages. In a new step that asserts Washington's flagrant bias to Israel and in an attempt to thwart any pressure against the Israeli entity that owns nuclear weapons, the U.S.'s Foreign Secretary have said that the conference, due to be held in Helsinki early December on a nuclear-free Middle East, has been cancelled on the pretext that the current situation in the region and what it called lack of consensus among the concerned countries. Israel, the only side in the Middle East that has nuclear weapons, which threatens the whole region, rejects to sign the Non-Proliferation Treaty on nuclear weapons. With that, we reach the end of our news. Visit our website www.syriaonline.sy. Stay with us. Khaled Saqabani has the latest in economy and finance, but after the break.